Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you. It's for Tuesday, which is the 11th day of August, 21st day of Av. I want to continue on a halacha that we mentioned yesterday. Yesterday we told you that if you're mailing a package on Friday and you're paying, let's say, FedEx for next day delivery, that it should be delivered on Shabbos, that's not allowed. You're paying directly for the company, the non-Jew, to do work for you on Shabbos, even though you arranged this before Shabbos, it's still not allowed. Okay, however, today we're going to tell you that there is a little bit of leniency available even in this situation, but for that we're going to have to go to the Shulchan Aruch to explain to you why, and we'll show it to you. In the Shulchan Aruch, it says this. Let's go back to the beginning. There's a pasuk in Yeshayahu that says "V'daber davar" when referring to Shabbos, and that teaches us that your speaking on Shabbos should be different than your weekday speaking. So therefore, davar ploni esa lamachar. If you say tomorrow I'm going to fix my fence, oschora plonis, or I'm going to go to the Target and buy something tomorrow on Sunday, ekna lamachar, I'll buy it tomorrow. Va'afilo b'sichas dvarim b'telim. So on Shabbos, you're not even allowed to just have useless talking because your speech on Shabbos has to be special. There are some people who telling something new to their friend, that brings them pleasure, and Shabbos is the day of oneg. Well, that type of pleasure, not all your pleasures like driving your car, that's not allowed on Shabbos, but that kind of thing, like speaking about something new that isn't Lashon Hara, of course, muter l'sapram b'Shabbos b'chol. You could tell them on Shabbos kemo b'chol, just like on weekdays. By the way, aval mi she'einu misaneg, let's say it pains you to tell that news, but it'll make your friend happy, so you're not allowed to tell it because it's going to bring you pain. Okay, so while the Shulchan Aruch was discussing that, it said this important detail. Aser liskar poalim, you're not allowed to hire workers on Shabbos. V'lo lomar la'akum liskar lo poalim b'Shabbos. You're also not allowed to tell a non-Jewish worker to get non-Jewish workers for you. You understand that way it's a little bit like removed from you. You spoke to a non-Jew who's going to speak to a non-Jew to have workers for you. So you're not allowed to do that on Shabbos. And by the way, that's even if you don't even need that till after Shabbos, you're still not allowed to do it. Now on that, the Mishnah Berurah says, it's this basically called Amira la Amira, where I'm telling a non-Jew to tell a non-Jew. So watch what the Mishnah Berurah says on that. And that's going to be important to our question. V'da damada kaimalan Amira la'ena Yehudi shvushu, where we said that it's a rabbinic prohibition to speak to a non-Jew about doing work for you. Afilu im amar la'ena Yehudi sheyomar la'ena Yehudi achar lasos lamalacha b'Shabbos. That even applies where you tell a non-Jew to tell a non-Jew to do work for you on Shabbos. It's still not allowed. That's going to be important to our question. Follow me here. The Chavos Yair says that sometimes you could be lenient in these matters, and here it is. Ayin b'sefer HaChaim shekasav b'makom hefsed gadol, in a place where you're going to have a big loss, yesh lismoch al hamakilin. Then you could rely on those who are lenient. In the case of great loss, you could rely on those who are lenient. That telling a non-Jew to tell a non-Jew, you could be lenient in that situation. Now, let's get back to our question. We asked you, what about telling FedEx that I want you to deliver my package tomorrow on Shabbos? When you tell this to FedEx, however you tell it, you're not, of course, speaking to the driver who's going to deliver it to you. You're probably telling it to a computer, who's telling it to some switching station or whatever, even if you arranged it on the phone. But you're not talking to the driver, right? You're talking to a non-Jew who's going to tell it to a non-Jew. And the Mishnah Berurah just said that when you're doing it that way, and there's a place of great loss, then it's permissible to arrange for Shabbos. So, what I'm aiming at here is this halacha, which is interesting for you to know today. If you want to deliver a package, you want FedEx to deliver a package, you arrange it on Friday, they're going to deliver it on Shabbos. But the reason you're doing it is because otherwise you're going to have a great financial loss. than telling it to a non-Jew who's going to tell it to a non-Jew, which is what happens when you call FedEx. Then it's going to be allowed in that situation because you would have had a great loss. Now you're probably wondering as you're listening to this, how much is called a great loss? $5, $10, $1,000, $100? So I'm afraid you're going to have to ask your rabbi about that if those situations apply to you. I feel like saying a little $1 loss or a $2 loss is probably not called hefsed gadol. When does it become a great loss that you're allowed to tell FedEx to deliver your package on Shabbos? If it happens to you, speak to your rabbi. Say, I heard on the daily DVAR HALACHA that when it's a great loss, I'm allowed to arrange for a package delivery on Shabbos, on Friday afternoon or whatever. Is $72 a great loss? Speak to your rabbi about that if it applies to you. Thanks for logging on. Log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.